We're women of faith with wisdom and grit, still figuring things out and laughing through it. Dating, healing, finding our niche. We're emotionally available-ish.
Welcome to Emotional Available-ish. I am Jada.
And I'm Valerie.
Today's conversation is for anyone who's ever been exhausted from trying to keep everyone else happy while slowly losing themselves.
Wow. So where do you think people pleasing starts? Childhood, church, family dynamics, wanting to avoid conflict?
I think all of that, Val. I will always say it goes back to childhood. Whatever we're missing from our foundation, I think really starts how, the people pleasing, in my opinion.
I agree. And I think also in areas of not wanting to be the one that's not fitting in.
Mm-hmm.
So not the one that, want to say no. You always, try to fit in with the crowd,
Right.
try to fit in with whatever situation or a room that you're in.
Yes.
Even if you don't agree with it, you tend to do it because you don't want to disappoint anyone or, and you just put yourself out there and then you just become people pleasing and it takes effect in your whole entire life.
I agree.
Now, have you ever said yes while secretly hoping that somebody would cancel?
All the time. I'm not going to say all the time, but I have gotten, the older I get, I'm okay with, have you seen those memes on TikTok where you're packing up and you're your friends or whoever going to go hang out, but then they call it last minute and say, hey, we're canceling. And then the next moment you see them in their PJs. Mm-hmm. That's me.
Yeah, listen, when I tell you, I always say when somebody asks me to go somewhere, especially if it's far in advance, and it's like, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Because before I used to say yeah, and then the day come, I'd be like, oh my God.
Yes.
And then when they call to cancel, I'd be like, yes. So now, because I'm not a people pleaser, so now I'll just say, well, I'll let you know if I can do it or not.
Right.
Only because, 2 weeks from now, I may not even feel like leaving my house.
Oh.
So, what were you afraid would happen if you said no?
Oh, God, that's a good question. And to be honest, I still kind of deal with that sometimes because I always feel like I don't want them to feel like I'm not being a good friend or not being a good partner, right? You don't want people to feel like, oh, she doesn't ever want to attend anything I have or, you don't love me. Because sometimes people will parallel that with love.
That is true.
And it's not always love because at the end of the day, everybody has their own lives and people are experiencing things that we don't even know about because you could have close friends that you may not be sharing certain things with that you're dealing with internally that you care not to share.
Yeah.
So that could be one of the things. But that's one of the things I'm more afraid of. I don't want to hurt people's feelings or for them to be concerned about, do I love them? I love you, but it's just, I'm not available right now.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I think my thing is I don't want to hurt people's feelings.
Yes.
And then it's like, but at some point you got to think about it. It's like either you gonna go and you be miserable because you really don't want to go, or you're more concerned about what happens when you say no, how they're going to feel.
Exactly.
So that's why I said I've gotten to the point where I was like, well, I'll let you know. So then that way I don't say yes or no.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I definitely understand that.
What do you think is the most expensive thing about people pleasing that has cost you?
Ooh, Jesus. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
Time. Mm-hmm. My identity.
Oh, that's good.
And I say that because you start to lose yourself when you're always doing something to please other people that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. So your identity kind of get lost because now you're just, are you living for you or are you living for whatever that person is putting on you?
Yes.
So I would definitely say those three things are my top things.
I agree with you. And that also includes with relationships as well, because you end up losing what you think are valuable relationships because people feel like, hey, again, do you not love me? Do you not care about me? But those are very expensive things to lose. And time, we can't get that back.
Oh, you can't get that
So
back.
as you said, with time, that's a crucial thing with people pleasing.
It's so funny. This is a big question. And I've asked myself this. Mm-hmm. Why is it so hard to disappoint other people, but so easy to disappoint ourselves?
Oh my gosh. Wow. I think that needs a pause. That is so good, Val, because we disappoint ourselves trying to please other people
Yep.
all the time. And that comes from anybody, not even just friends. That's even with employment. We do that for our supervisor, our bosses, our children, our spouses. It's very hard to disappoint, but it shouldn't be right.
Right.
It's not an okay thing to do. We wear ourselves out, which actually causes us to be sick.
Yeah.
Causes us to have inner issues, mental issues, physical issues. But it can be very difficult.
Yeah, and I think it also rolls into with the disappointment of other people, you don't want to feel the stigma from that. So it's easier to disappoint yourself because it's just you and you can just sit with that. But when, you disappoint people, you don't know if they're going to talk to you again.
That's true.
You don't know if they're going to want to maintain the friendship, relationship, or whatever. So it is easier to disappoint ourselves than it is to disappoint other people, which is so dumb because
it is dumb.
Like you said, it plays a lot in your health, in your mindset and overall stress. Because you're walking through things, you're doing things that you really don't want to do.
Right. And we're walking around on pins and needles.
Yeah.
Like when you really think about that, Val, like I'm just sitting here in this moment thinking like how crazy that is. Like that's really dumb that you rather please somebody else, but you're torturizing yourself to please other people. Yeah. When did you realize you were saying yes out of obligation instead of calling?
Oof. When it was wearing me out. It's so funny because I had several people that I used to talk to pretty much kind of mentor. And I had gotten to the point where, because you do it because they're reaching out to you and you feel like it's your calling.
Right.
Once it starts to wear me out and then you're not doing anything that I've set in place or asked you to do, you just got to get to that point where I'm sorry, but this assignment is, you're no longer my assignment.
That's true.
And once you get to that place, and then you just have to set that boundary because when it wears you out. When I'm going to bed tired or stressed out, worrying about your life, and you just go on about your business like nothing, and I'm more concerned than you are about what you're going through. It's a lot. That's a lot.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So, what boundaries make us feel as guilty at first? Why do boundaries make us feel guilty at first?
I think, as we're talking about, because we're simply trying to please other people.
Yep.
I think that's really the bottom line. And again, it's not okay. We have to learn how to put ourselves first and realizing that it's not selfish to do something, to do that. A lot of times we'll say, well, like we're discussing right now, well, I don't want to feel bad. I don't want them to think I don't love them. I don't want them to feel that they're not appreciated. But you rather do yourself a disservice and then please somebody else who really may not even have your back at the end of the day, who really may not be a friend.
That is
like
true.
You do a lot of supporting of other people and they may not even be, reciprocal of you. You do the same thing for you. So I don't know.
Yeah. So how do you think, how does people pleasing, how has it shown up in your friendships, dating life, ministry, family?
It has shown up a lot. It has shown up a lot to the point of being honest this week. I've noticed some things and there are some conversations that I probably need to have with some people that, of course, you don't want to have these type of conversations, but it comes a time when, as adults, there are times when you have to have conversations. Yeah. And it has shown up a lot because it's actually pulling me from some people. I will say that because I don't really know if it was friendship as I thought it was in the beginning, because I assumed it was a friendship, but I don't know if it was a friendship. And it hasn't been that long of a friendship, but it shows up. I'll just say that. And it does happen. It happens in friendships. It happens in dating, life, ministry, and family, as you asked.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think for me, it's draining. That's how it shows. People pleasing for me shows up as I'm being drained. When I'm exhausted, when I'm, for me, for how it works for me, if I know I'm people pleasing, then I know I'm drained and I'm exhausted.
Yes.
And it wears me out. So that's how it shows up to me. And I always ask myself too, are you seeking God's approval or people's applause? So,
wow.
A lot of people get their assignment or calling mixed up with people pleasing. And you just have to really sit with God and ask yourself, is this God's approval or is it for people's applause?
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think we do a lot, again, with the people pleasing, and we don't really listen to God. God will clearly give us direction if we listen.
Absolutely.
And if we're not taking the time to really sit in his presence, we'll realize that this is not what God told us to do.
In Galatians 1:10, it tells us, am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God?
Ooh.
So that's a good scripture to reflect on when you feel like you're going through that people pleasing or people applause. Which one are you trying to do?
I think that's good.
And that's the thing. So, this has been great, Jada.
It has been great.
Talking about people pleasing. And, I want to leave you with this thought. People may be disappointed by your boundaries, but your peace is worth protecting. Every no that honors your values make room for the yes that God is calling you to. So I have a question for you guys. What one boundary you set that changed your life, or one boundary you know you need to set? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share.